Thank you, Chair. Ambassador Adnan Abu Alhaijaa, thank you for briefing the students of West Asian studies about an important issue that West Asia is witnessing in particular, and the world as a result of it in general. Students, faculty members, Ambassador has given a brief about the issue of Palestine right from the beginning. I do not want to burden you, with what he has already spoken. But in a brief nutshell, I can tell you what exactly is the problem and how it has to be dealt with in our own experience that we have seen in that part of the world. You know, the Palestinian issue is an issue of 12 million people. 6 million are homeless, living outside Palestine, and another 6 million are under the occupation of the Israeli colonialists. The 6 million which are under occupation within Israel today, 2.5 million live in the West Bank, which was occupied in 1967. More than 1.5 to 2 are living in a very small place called Gaza Strip, which is one of the most densely populated place in the world. And another 2 million are living inside Israel, and they are called Israeli Arabs by the Israel, but basically they are the Palestinians who have been given the Israeli identity card. So there are around 6 million. Outside the Palestine, the historical Palestine, the largest number of the Palestinians who are refugees, who were dispersed from their homes, whose homes were snatched or whose homes were occupied, majority of them are living in Chile and Brazil. Many of us are not aware that around 1 billion Palestinian refugees are living in Chile, and 500,000 are living in Brazil and other parts of the world, leaving their homes as a dispersed people, as dispersed refugees. Now, what we are seeing today is 25 years of a process without any peace. The peace which was initiated by the great freedom fighter Yasser Arafat and his counterpart Zikrur Rahman. Both of them were given Nobel Peace Prize for reaching a settlement to end the conflict and to ensure a two-state resolution. Now, unfortunately, the extreme right in Israel ensured that the peace process is not implemented. So what they did, they assassinated Zikrur Rahman, the Prime Minister who had entered into a peace deal, a Nobel Prize winner. And at the same time, the joint holder of the Nobel Prize, Yasser Arafat, was poisoned by them, and he was also killed in front of the naked eyes of the world, and no one had really anything to say about how this Israeli extreme right is working to destroy the peace process in that very part of the world. Now, according to the peace process which was finalized, 87% of the historical Palestine, where the Palestinians were living, was accepted by Yasser Arafat and PLO to be a part of Israel. And the balance 22%, which is part of West Bank and Gaza Strip, was accepted to be the state of Palestine. Now, even that, after 25 years, Israelis are not willing to give them that 22%. And they are sometimes talking to give either 40% of this 22% or 30% of this 22% because of certain reasons. The reason is that West Bank is richest in its resources. The water aquifers there are basically the supplier of water to the whole of Israel. You know, if you go to West Bank from the Jordan Valley, Dead Sea, which is 700 meters below the sea level, and as you go up slowly and you reach Hebron, which is 700 meters above the sea level, within 45 minutes drive by car, you will see that how the landscape changes from brown to green to lush green to snowfall. Now they do not want to leave that area because it is rich in resources. But what they want is, they do not want to annex it also. I always say, and on this I have disagreement with my ambassador, friend, Ambassador Adnan Abu Alhaijaa, that let Israel snatch that, let it make a part of Israel, no harm. But Israel doesn't want to, because if they snatch, if they take, if they annex that very land and make it a part of Israel, then they have to take 6 million Palestinians also as their nationals, which they do not want. Because once they take those 6 million Palestinian nationals who are residing in the West Bank and Gaza, that means they will be a minority. Israeli Jews will be a minority in that very state. And it will be an apartheid state. So they want to keep it only as an occupied territory, and they proudly they say that this is occupied territory. They want to keep it, utilize, exploit the resources without giving the rights to the people. So basically it is a typical colonial aspiration of occupation, occupiers who are subjugating the 6 million people in that very part of the world. Now, after the assassination of Yasser Arafat, after the assassination of Zikrur Rahman and killing of Yasser Arafat, and when a lot of problems came up, a quartet was made by the West. And they made a roadmap, that this roadmap, according to this roadmap, two-state solution will come. Until date, the map is with the Palestinians, but the roads are with the Israelis. So a roadmap is not going to profit or to give anything to them. It is simply the oldest occupation and the only occupation in the 21st century, and subjugation of the aspirations of the people. Now, Ben Gurion, the first president, was once asked soon after the creation of Israel that what are you going to do with these millions of Palestinians whom you have thrown out of their own homeland? Who are these people? So these refugees who have become refugees. So what this man who was supposed to be the intellectual of Israel had stated, well, those who are old will die, those who are young will never ever remember there was a place called Palestine. But see how wrong he was. The 2.5 million at that time in 1947, which is now 12 million, are still carrying that struggle for the sake of their independence on their shoulders. Ambassador Abu Alhaijaa himself was a freedom fighter. You see that he limps. Why he limps? A bullet, an Israeli bullet had hit him. He was a freedom fighter. And there are thousands and thousands living inside and outside Palestine who have been suffering, but who have remained steadfast and who have remained firm in order to ensure that a freedom at whatever cost comes, it has to come, because this is the birthright of a human being, whether it is Israel, non-Israel. Now when they talk about Jewish state, Ambassador had touched about that. I always say, what a Jewish state? When Israel was created, Palestinians were not asked to give consent for the creation of Israel. They went to the United Nations and they said that we are an Israeli state, the state of Israel. Now, if they want to declare themselves as a Jewish state, let them go to United Nations. Let them declare themselves as a Jewish state, Islamic state, Christian state, whatever, Zionist state, whatever they want to do. Why are they unnecessarily insisting upon the Palestinians to recognize them as a Jewish state? Now there is a ploy, and the ploy is that every time under pressure from the international community, when Israelis are closer for a kind of a settlement with the Palestinians, suddenly you will find the fall of the government. Whether it was Ehud Barak government, whether it was Olmert government, whether it was Netanyahu government, whichever government comes, once they are closer to a solution, they straight away start from afresh. So it is a process which is continuing to be a process without any peace in that part of the world. Now as far as India is concerned, India has always stood for the independence of the state of Palestine, for the rights of the Palestinian people, and we are still, I think, is it one here or from somewhere else? Okay. So we are still for the rights of the Palestinian people. In 1919 and 1926, our leaders had stood for that. In 1926, our leaders had stood for that. Khilafat movement at that time, Maulana Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali were there, who stood for the independence and for the rights. Soon after, Mahatma Gandhi had spoken. After that, our regular leadership under the Congress party had continued to support. And when there was a talk during Vajpayee's time, very first time when NDA had come, there was a fear that India might change its stand. But as far as Palestine is concerned, India had not changed its stand. India had always supported and will continue supporting the rights of the Palestinian, keeping apart the interest between India and Israel, whatever interest we have. Whether these are military or whether these are other interests, we are having our own interest, and we are having because we have diplomatic relations with Israel, but it is not at the cost of Palestinians. But yes, a proactive support of India to Palestinian is not visible today. We have financial support, but okay, Palestinians need finances, but financial support is not going to give anything. We are supporting in the United Nations also, but otherwise we are keeping quiet. It is not that we had been supporting the cause of occupation. because of those who are colonized, like what we had done with other nations of Africa. This is what we had done with South Africa and all others. We are just keeping quiet and working along the lines where our voice is heard only in United Nations whenever Palestinians raise their voice, but otherwise we keep quiet. Therefore, it is very, very important for us as youngsters that we have to have two-pronged strategy. One strategy is the Palestinians which have to follow, and which I always fight, and he says you are wrong, and I always say that I believe I am right, and that is one state solution. Because Israelis are not going to give you two states. Withdraw the Palestine National Authority PNA from there. Now 25 years they have not given you in spite of all your concessions to them. What concession you have not given to them? Every day you are facing killings, every day you are facing atrocities. They are just making you responsible to run the administration without having responsibility of that state, without giving you any authority on that state. I think this is high time that the Palestine national leaders sit together and make a strategy and decide that better we should exit from that state. Give the responsibility to Israel. Let them make it one state. Let the 6 million Palestinians be a part of Israel. Let them say that how they are. The other day, Yehud Barak, about 1 week ago, while giving an interview to the BBC, had stated that it will be one of the most dangerous things for Israel if one state solution is thrown, for the discussion and for the public, because our existence is in danger. Like what Ambassador has stated, the President of Israel has stated, there is high time for the Palestinian National Authority to take a decision to see. I do not say that you fight on the streets, I do not say that you go and take arms in the hand, but you have to have a strategy, evolve a strategy, and according to that strategy, you have to work and bring the justice, whether they were criminals or non-criminals, bring them to the fora, to the justice. And for us, we Indians, as youngsters, as young students, I think very important is to ensure a boycott, because a boycott is very, very important against those who are oppressors, against those who are committing atrocities on innocents, against those who are killing women, who are killing children, who are the worst occupiers and worst colonials of the 21st century. In Jamia Millia Islamia, in many other universities, I think in JNU also, and all over the world, there is a boycott of the Israeli right-wing elements who try to come and who try to propagate, their own theory, and who try to say that what exactly, they have been facing all kinds of things. The Israeli products have to be boycotted. This is one of the most important things. While we have become the second largest importer of arms and ammunition from Israel, weapons, second largest importers of weapons from Israel. Well, for our national interest, it is okay. But do we know that how much we are contributing to the economy of those occupiers, of those colonials? There are thousands and thousands of Israelis who go to the West Bank under compulsory army and who kill that innocent Palestinians. After 2 years of compulsory military training, they come to India, they go to Shimla and Dharamsala, they drown themselves in the drug in order to forget how many people they had killed, how many innocent, how many children, how many beings. They just want, because their own conscience actually they suffer from their own conscience. That's why they go there and they drown themselves in it. But they do not allow Indians to get visa and visit there. There are a very large number from this university also, very large number of Palestinians who have married Indian girls and who are living in Palestine. Israel has not given them not only the nationality, not only the residence permit, but these women, students of this very university, they are not allowed for now 20 years to either go out of West Bank and Gaza Strip or to come in, because they have not been given. Once they are in, they are neither allowed to go, because once they leave, they will be permanently leaving that place. Their mothers have died, I know that, because I was ambassador there. They used to come and they used to complain that our parents have died and we have not been allowed to go there. These kind of atrocities, these kind of social oppressions are there. So I will not take much of your time, because main speaker is ambassador, and I know that you do not have, I can speak for a longer time about what all is happening in that very part of the world. But extreme right in Israel has hijacked the two-state solution, has hijacked the aspirations of independence, has hijacked the current dispensation in Israel, and also under one or the other pretext want to continue subjugating those 6 million inside and continuously committing atrocities, killing 6 million outside without getting their own aspirations fulfilled. Thank you very much.